Emma, you're here obviously today at the Wakefield Media Day to speak to the players,
Yeah.
but you are a player yourself for the club at the Wakefield Trinity PDRL side. How was 2018 as a player?
Okay, well, I'm going to say player in inverted commas because comparatively to the other lads, I've never actually played rugby. I've watched a lot of it. Obviously, there's a good pedigree with my brother, so it's an entirely different when you watch a game to actually suddenly trying to play it. And of course, the main ingredient for me was that there were no other women on the pitch. So consequently, you've got big prop forwards that you still have to run at, despite the fact that you're not technically going to tackle or be tackled. So there's an intimidation factor. And I've lost quite a few toenails, and had the odd injury. But all in all, it was an extremely interesting concept to be involved in, and I was, honoured to go over to Australia and meet George Tonner, the founder, and the guys over in New South Wales and Gold Coast Titans. They were amazing. I even got to meet Sandra Hickey from the New Zealand Warriors side, and they're just brilliant people that want to do something amazing, and that kind of comes through with every single person you speak to. Any of the lads that play for Wakefield Trinity, you could pluck them off the pitch and their stories are absolutely incredible and inspirational. Connor Lines, Darren Dean, the whole lot of them. None of them are kind of more inspirational than any of the rest of them, and to be surrounded by a group of people like that is not something that you can replicate in any other part of society.
I think having been to the Paralympics in London 2012 as a spectator,
yeah,
and thoroughly enjoyed the experience, and the coverage of disability sport, it's difficult to know what you're supposed to say and what you're not supposed to say. But what I noticed from watching the games is it's rugby league.
Oh yeah.
It's yes, there's rule modifications obviously.
Yeah.
But whether you've got one leg, one arm, or whatever, you're still going into the collision.
I think if anyone watches it, they'll be surprised. I mean, one of the games particularly that stands out for me is Leeds versus Wakefield, one of the last games towards the season, and it was probably one of the best games. Neither side had any ex-pro ABs. It was pure, everybody on the pitch was PD. And it was a fantastic spectacle, but the crowd at Headingley were suddenly amazed at the impact level, at the speed, at the skill work, and I think from that point of view we got a lot of extra followers because it was actual, like you say, it's actual rugby. It's not, as somebody said, it's not disabled people running around with a ball. Those guys hit hard and they want to play properly, and that's the thing. The only thing stopping them from playing on another pitch is the fact they have a disability, and I cannot fault the enthusiasm. And there's been some bruising injuries as well.
Have you come out of the season unscathed? Are you going to be fit, ready for the new season?
I don't know about that. I have. I picked up quite a bad Achilles injury, and part of the problem I have, I have no sensation in the lower leg on the left, and from my waist down I have no. And I thought what I'd done was something. I thought it was my injury getting worse, and it turned out that I'd torn my quad, my adductor, and my hip flexor. And obviously, because I hadn't realised, I'd played on it, so it was terrible. Yeah, it's not great, to be honest with you. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, you don't need to laugh. It's just it's bizarre to kind of think in those terms.
Yeah, well, the thing was, I do physical medicine, and I always would say to a patient, as soon as you feel an injury, you stop. But I didn't feel anything, so of course I didn't stop. And then I got up the next day and thought, this isn't right. This is something wrong. This is something wrong here. But yeah, I thought it was my neurological system cutting down. But actually, no. Fortunately, in a way, it was muscular.
Obviously, the PDRL is a very new concept here. Obviously, it's still to develop the rules, the clubs, players getting involved. 4 clubs at the moment, I'm right in thinking, in the UK, and obviously more wanting to get involved. Where do you see the sport progressing? I guess it's going to be a slow progress at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there was a very fast-paced progress last year. John Welsh has done an amazing job of getting it up and running, and the whole system it kind of escalated at a very quick pace. But compared to the Australian system, it's gone much faster. I think that there possibly will be an ebb now, because, like I think I was saying to you earlier, there is a small percentage of society that wants to play rugby league and get smashed. There's a very small percentage that have a disability that want to play rugby league and get smashed. And I think from that point of view, there may be a slight dry up. But I mean, I'd love to see it in, the World Cup as part of the whole proceedings. The men's, the women's, the wheelchair disability. I think it would be fantastic for it to get to that point, and I'd love to see it progress. But the most important thing for me is to see the lads enjoy themselves. So whatever kind of capacity if I'm just standing watching, it doesn't matter. They deserve to be able to play.
And that's I guess the future is we're just hoping to see more games being played in front of more people.
Yeah, and I think there's still people out there who don't realise they can play. So I think there's still some people to come to it. But the main thing is that there's lads watching who maybe have cerebral palsy that don't particularly get picked for sports in school. Keenan Wilkes. He was a great example of somebody who these lads can look up to. He's now playing with cerebral palsy. Never got picked for a game in school for anything, and he's playing for Castleford Tigers. Do you know that? And they can look up to him, and they can look up to various other players, and they don't have to sit there and think, I can't. It's now a possibility, and that's the future.